Today, following the quiz, you worked on a worksheet that gave you a lot of guided help on solving simple interest problems. And when you're dealing with simple interest, we have the following equation. I equals PRT. I represents interest. P represents the principal amount, or how much money you began with. R represents the rate of interest, which we need to have written as a decimal. And T represents the time, typically in months or years. Number 1 reads, you decide to invest $850 for 15 years at a simple interest rate of 3%. So following the example that was given to you, we would have $850 is our principal times our rate of 0.03, which is equivalent to 3%, times our time, which was 15 years. Since I let you use calculators on your homework, you should be able to calculate 850 times 0.03 times 15, and should have determined that to be $382.50. That represents the interest, or the amount that was gained by putting this money in whatever investment it was put into. Now, being able to calculate interest is part of your job, but then you also need to know what to do with that amount of interest. The whole goal is to be able to add up how much money you have in total. So that's what we ended up doing in the back. After finding the amount of interest, we added that amount of interest to however much principal we started with. That gave us our total amount in the bank. I did hear a couple of you asking questions on problems like number 9. And it asked, how much did you initially invest? Well, I want us to look at the equation that we were working with. I equals PRT. And we know that P, R, and T are all being multiplied together. So if our question is asking us for how much was initially invested, we're looking for that initial principal amount. So I could rearrange the order of my equation by getting P all by itself. And I would accomplish that anytime we multiply. The inverse operation is division. So I'm going to divide by RT. R over T cancels. Anything I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. RT. So now I have dropped P to being all by itself is equal to I over RT. And for problem 9, we're given I, our interest rate is 4%, our I is our simple interest. That was $800. Our rate was 4%, or 0.04, and our time was 10. So we plug those numbers into our equation. I divided by RT equals our total starting principal. You should be able to take the same idea and apply it to number 10 and try to figure out what rate you were given for interest. And we'll discuss these more in depth tomorrow as we go over this assignment.